So my father-in-law is like the biggest Gozney fan.
Your father-in-law is?
Yeah, and he has a dome, and he's been like making pizza so much and just so enthusiastic, watches everything on the YouTube channels, is like so in tune with everything. So the other day, like before I told him what we were doing today, he's like, I think a series would be good for like someone who's like not an expert, you know what I mean? Someone like who's just getting started on the dome, so like you kind of show us like how to really use it. I'm like, yeah, it's called How to Pizza. We're shooting that on Monday. And he was like,
that's awesome.
It was so funny.
You guys make it look so easy. And then, I mean, even the like spreading of the sauce is a situation. It's like so perfect.
So there's like a little debate that's been going on between like some of my friends who are like pizzeria owners and pizza guys. And the debate basically is like, you don't see a lot of slice shops that are like chains. There's certainly slice shops that have many locations, and Sabaro's is really the only place that I could think of that was like a national, international chain. But mostly the slice shops are like mom and pops, maybe they have 3 or 4 like us, 5 or 6, whatever, or they have, some places have up to 20. It's definitely difficult. But the debate is that, can you train anyone to make this pie? And my position on it was that no, because I've seen so many people come through this kitchen and like really good cooks that just could not ever get the technique down of making the round pie. And this is not to scare you. 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 So, like, if you did want to scale this to like hundreds or thousands of stores, you would have to find a way to train people to make this dough, to stretch the wide dough. And for me, I see that people that pick up on it, like are good with their hands, have good dexterity, are soft-handed, whatever the case may be. But
Interesting.
I don't know if you could train everyone.
To be a slice shop, you have to be making these huge pizzas.
For the most part.
So like most slice shops are New York style pizza.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, because you couldn't be doing a Neapolitan slice shop.
Well, the idea is that you want to be able to sell a slice that,
fills a plate.
That fills a plate, that fits on a plate. And we usually operate within, sort of like this unspoken rule that the slice is somewhere between, $2 and $4 now. And it changes. In the past, the slice used to be what it cost to get on the train. So a token, like, or your Metro card. So you want to give a nice slice that fills it out. And in order to do that, you either have to make a big pie that's 20 inches, or you have to cut like an 18-inch, a 16-inch pie a little bit different. And then the slice gets a little bit wider, it looks a little weird. So for me, my favorite size is somewhere between 18 and 20 inches, and that's what we make, a 20-inch pizza.
So at 20 inches, it looks like 40 inches.
And as I'm sitting here talking, it's not the best thing to do.
I know, I was worried about that.
You don't want to leave the pie on here, but I'm feeling confident today.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. So.
All right.
I told you, I got tricks too.
And these are the grandmas.
These are the grandmas. So just kind of, they even have the plastic on them now, but Adrian is smart and wanted to kind of get him going a little bit, so he just kind of put him here.
And I heard Adrian's been with you for 15 years.
He's been with us 15 years. So Adrian. So Charlotte, this is Adrian.
We met, it's nice. I was just hearing you've been here for 15 years, making all the pies.
Como 15 años.
Yeah, like almost 15, yeah.
So Adrian worked at a restaurant called Tabla. It was a Danny Meyer restaurant. It was an Indian restaurant, and he worked a tandoor oven. And he had never made pizza before, but he was used to making tandoori dough and sticking it onto the very hot ovens. So when he came here, like my little brother, his name is Akil. He was raised at my house. He went to the Culinary Institute with me a couple years later, and he worked at Tabla as well. And when they closed, they both came and opened Best Pizza with me.
Oh, sweet.
So Adrian's transition from the tandoori oven to pizza was very natural. And this is an example of like a natural. He has amazing hands, and he was able to pick up the pizza dough 1, 2, 3. But I also have guys that work with me that were amazing cooks that just couldn't get it. They just couldn't get the big one. I have faith in you. I think we're gonna get it done today, right? But there is that debate. So maybe by the end of today, you could help, we could have a little bit of your input too, and you tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. All right, so I've been kind of like talking and like bullshitting a little bit while we've been making this pizza, and it's like 90 degrees outside. The thing that you don't want to happen when you're making a big pie like this is that you don't want it to stick to the peel.
Right.
Because then you go to launch it and make a big disaster in the oven, causes a lot of problems. So it's been sitting and like it looks a little jammed up. I see like it's moving a little bit over here, but it doesn't feel like the whole pie is gonna slide off easily. So I do have a trick. So bear with me. We haven't put the cheese on yet, but it's been sitting here for a while, and this is actually the perfect time to do it. So if you feel like the dough is sticking to the bottom of the peel, you grab a tray, right?
Okay.
You take your pizza tray and you go right over the top with it, right? Then you flip.
Wait, what?
Right upside down. Sometimes it'll stick just a little bit, right? Then you just take your flour, and if you really want to be super safe, just put a little bit of flour over there. Let me kind of come right here. Set it back up.
What?
Right? So you end up with a little bit of sauce on the tray, no big deal. Barely, right? And then, you know, we have the cheese, which will cover all of this. And I'll show you something really amazing in a second.
That was trick.
That was good, right?
Yeah. How'd you come up with that?
Actually, I saw it like in my pizza years, like years and years ago, I watched a pizza man that was in the middle of like the and one of the like pies was sticking, and he's like, hand me the tray. Shout out to one of the guys, put the tray on top, flipped it. And I was like, damn, that's genius.
Yeah.
So now,
look at that.
yeah, so now it's slide
Wiggle,
right
wiggle,
up.
wiggle,
So
wiggle.
all of you at home, if you ever get a pizza dough stuck to your tray, or stuck to your peel, I should say, if you ever get a pizza dough stuck to your peel, because the moisture is like the enemy of like pizza sliding off, just take a tray, throw it right over the top, and do a little flippity-doo-dah, and you know, that's the way that's
I mean, that's
Think you
amazing.
can
I
nail
could
that
use
one?
that a couple times.
All right, here we go. I hope it comes off the peel, okay?
All right.
Let's see. It's hot.
Okay, so, whoa. It came off. And I like that slow launch. That was like a wiggle, wiggle. There's a lot of wiggling happening. Is that how you launch the bigger pies, off these wooden?
You know, I noticed like a lot of guys, they like whip it out fast, and we're like in a tight kitchen over here. It's kind of like a little like tight, and I also like one thing I like to do when I make pizza, I like to be delicate. I don't like to move super fast or like hit anything too hard. So I always, even if I have the long peels, I kind of like to be gentle when I take it out. Dude, some people like to slide it, but that's just my style.
Wait, okay, and see how it's bubbling in the middle?
Yes.
What do you do to deal with that? Because that happens to me at home sometimes, and then I like take the peel and smash it down on top. Doesn't go
You
well.
can take the peel and smash it down. That's one way to do it. But what I like to do is I'll usually grab like a peel, like a nice long peel, so that I can get underneath. And then kind of what you want to do is just lift it and let that air deflate. And if you lift it long enough, you know, the air has a place to escape, and now that the bottom of the pizza will start to cook, and hopefully it won't inflate again. So yeah, when we put it back down. But I like bubbles on my pizza, but that bubble was too big.
It was
you
big,
know?
huh?
Yeah, so sometimes when you slide it off, you know, a little air will get caught underneath and it'll just start to bubble up. But yeah, that's one thing that you could do. One thing that you could do is kind of like tilt it and let the air escape out. Another thing, if it's just like a little bubble like that, sometimes people will keep like a knife or keep like a bubble popper. It's just like a long stick with a little point at the end, and they'll pop the bubbles on it. But I love the bubbles. I love the black spots. Like the bubbles are my favorite slice, you know, if I see one with a big bubble on it. So I try to keep those around.
Yeah.
But this is the first pizza of the day, so we have to be really careful. The stone gets really hot. So we kind of have to be really delicate with this one. And then as you start to cook the pizzas, the base of the oven will chill out a little bit, and it gets a little bit easier.
Because the pizza is drawing all the heat out of the oven, right?
Exactly.
Dude, we've been making pizzas for like 3 minutes, and I've learned 2 of the best tricks so far. This guy knows what he's doing, apparently. Who knew?
The key to making good pizza is making a lot of pizza. That's my motto. It's just like, if you make a lot of pizza, you start to see all the little things that could go wrong and all like the little nuances. Then you kind of learn tricks to them. And then before you know it, you have a repertoire. And if it's cold outside, if it's hot outside, the dough is different. But you learn to adjust if you make a lot of pizzas throughout the year. So another thing's kind of like, if it's super hot, sometimes I'll just hold it up and heat rises obviously. So as the top of the dome is a lot hotter, so if it's a little unbalanced. But for me, the most difficult pizzas to cook, especially in a wood fire oven, are the first couple of pizzas because it's not super balanced out. And then as you cook the pizzas in it, you start to really feel like they glide around and your spots are tempered, and the pizzas really start to cook beautifully when everything is balanced.
How many pizzas are you cooking every hour about?
It's hard to say. It changes so much throughout the day. It kind of comes in waves, but
So you're cooking to order?
Yeah.
Even the sliced pizzas, how does that work?
So the sliced pizzas, we only have like a small amount that we kind of keep here in like the, just put a tray up here. So in our display case, we keep about 4 or 5 pizzas all day, and they go pretty quick. So ideally, in a perfect world, we're just pulling hot, pizzas out of the oven, and we're cutting them and serving them to our guests, so they get in a fresh slice. But some people really love the reheat, and that's kind of like what the sliced pizza is about. So often we have pizzas that sit there, but they don't sit for more than 45 minutes, an hour, until it's ready to until we're ready to restock.
So then if someone comes in and it's been sitting there for 45 minutes, you just throw per slice on for a reheat,
So
or is that
actually,
those? Or?
yeah, that's what these bad boys are for. Right now, it's kind of like just the way things were. We started with all gas ovens, right? And this was a double stack Baker's Pride. So we had a Baker's Pride gas oven on the bottom and a Baker's Pride on the top. And that's what we use to reheat the slices. So the pizza guys are cooking here, the oven guys are here, right? And then whoever's working saute is using these ovens for the slices. As time went on, the technology got a lot better with the electric ovens, and one of our gas ovens broke, so we stacked it with electric. So I got a 100-year-old wood fire, I got like a 20-year-old gas oven, and then I got a 3 or 4-year-old electric oven. Yeah, so we got a little bit of everything.
It's got your foot in all the worlds. That's awesome.
And then we keep the 2 peels here because one of our other well-known pizzas is our white pizza.
Yeah.
There's no tomato sauce on it, so with the 2 pizza wheels, we if you cut a tomato sauce pizza with the wheel and then you go to cut the white pie, you'll get like a line of red sauce.
Yeah.
And that's sloppy for me. So we
yeah.
keep 2 different, two different cutters.
Okay.
White for the white, and then the black handle for the regular.
Smart.
That's it. Very simple.
Smart.
Keep it simple, right? And then, so with these bigger pies, that first cut is very important. If you don't cut it straight down the center, then half of your slices will be big and half of your slices will be small.
Right.
And you can really screw up your margin on the pizza. So that first slice down the middle is really important. You want it to be as close to even as you can. Yeah, exactly. That makes sense?
Yeah.
I'm spitting a lot of info at you right now.
I'm retaining about 10% of it.
I see the wheels turning. So another thing that I like to do is when I cut the pizza, I kind of like to eye it out where I'm just cutting it in half so everything's even. But at the end, I kind of give it like a little twist.
Okay.
And
get through the crust.
It separates the crust, because when the pizza's in the box and you send it out for delivery, and let's say the pizza gets to the house and everybody's getting ready to eat, if the pizza's not cut fully through, it's a pain in the ass. You have to start ripping the pizza apart. So I don't want the guests to rip the pizza. So that extra cut to make sure we're through the pizza is important for me and to train my guys.
I made some pizza the other night for my in-law, my husband's family, and one piece wasn't cut all the way through, and then my father-in-law took the cutter and he's like all through the pizza, and I was like, oh, it's so brutal.
You see, so we want to avoid those signs. We want to avoid that. We'll let this guy kind of chill out here for a little while.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Next is our white pie, and that's one of our signature pizzas here. People really love it, and there's some special tricks that we have for that one as well.
All right, white pie.
Ready to rock and roll?
Let's do it.
Was that 20-inch pie?
Yeah, 20 inches, yep. So the dough is 720 grams. Yeah. Typically for we just did an event, the one at the Hoxton last Sunday. And we weighed the dough out to 250 grams. And they were pretty nice sized pizzas, so you can imagine. We'll get 3 of those doughs out of one of these. or 3 of those pizzas out of one of these. So this is the white pie where we use like the water and the sesame seeds. This is fun, so like when we talk about it later, salud. We usually, like what we were saying about the pizza sticking, like the last thing you want is to have like moisture on the peel. And this, we're literally taking a brush with water and like putting it on the dough. So it's super, yeah, exactly. If you're sloppy with this part, you could really destroy the pizza, but our guys have gotten so good with just being careful that we rarely have those accidents anymore.
This is a classic, iconic pizza, dude. And we got this in the book as well.
Yeah. Maddie serves it at his place. Maddie at Maker Pizza.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have a white pizza on it, and it's called Frank's Best.
Sick.
Yeah. When he came here, he really liked it, and then he called me and he's like, "Yo, is it cool if we like riff on that pie for Maker?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course." He's like, "We'll give you the credit." I'm like, "100%, bro. I appreciate the call." That was like years ago. Jesus. Chill. Let me want this. Thank you. Yeah, we have the water, so afterwards when we're ready to do the mozzarella, we'll bring it up. Junior, could you also take out one bus tub of curd and just leave it out so it starts to temper? Make sure it's the curd and not already the broken. Yeah, just one. A little bit of EVOO. At the end. This guy's sticking a little bit, see? A little bit of flour there. Then when we have the ingredients on the top, it makes it a lot easier to spread it to get to that 20 inches that we're looking for. Make sure no extra flour on the bottom. So this location kind of chose me. I was very blessed. We've been here for 15 years in October.
Wow. Wow, cool. That's a long time.
It's a long time. It's a long time.
And how many locations do you have? Is this the only one, or?
No, we have a couple locations. So we have, this is the flagship. We opened in 2010. Right around this time in 2010, we were painting the walls. We were getting everything set up. And I think we sold our first slice like October 15th, October 16th, 2010. So October 16th is always the date that we stuck with. Will be our 15-year anniversary this year. My game plan was to open up like a by the slice pizza place, but I had given myself like a 5-year plan. And part of that plan was to go to cook for amazing chefs. We'll go to culinary school, which I did, cook for some amazing chefs, go to Italy and work, which actually never happened. And then eventually open up my own place. But I started working at Roberta's, which is a very popular pizzeria and sort of like a groundbreaking pizzeria in the States. And like the owners kind of took a liking to me, we hit it off, and this place was on the market. And yeah,
and the owner jumped on it.
We jumped on it. The owner, Chris, at the time was like, we found a spot in Williamsburg. It has a bona fide oven. I didn't know what that really meant at that time. He's like, "Why don't you come in and cook for us, and we'll take it from there." So I had no, like, they were my partners. I didn't think, I wanted a piece, but I knew I wasn't going to be the whole owner, the majority owner. I kind of just went with the flow. 2 years after that, I was able to buy them out. And
Oh man.
yeah, I've been running it on my own for like the last 13 years.
That's so cool. They had so much faith in you.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And look what you've built.
I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to those guys.
Awesome.
Oh. Should we hit pause?
Yeah.
Bullshit sales call.
Text marketing? Yeah, man, awesome. I'd love to chat. He's the best. That's why you came up with the name.
I'm
You're the
not
best.
usually that nice.
Yeah,
Anyway.
right. Well, tell me about this oven then. So you said a bona fide oven. Like this thing looks bona fide.
Bona fide oven. So the oven's been around for like 100 years. It was a bakery for many, many years. So the family that lived here, the bakery was called Saviano's. The family that lived here and operated was called the Bellows. There's a couple pictures on the wall that I could show you later. But this oven, it looked a little bit different than this. It was all kind of white glazed brick, subway tile. It had a rectangular mouth, and they loaded the coal in this door right over here.
Oh, wow.
So as you could see, this is the old cast iron door, the Duchess Tool Company in Beacon, New York, right? I guess this is just of 43, you know, maybe production number, something like that. But it's got this cool old thing.
Cool.
At the bottom, there's an area to kind of clean it out. And what they did is it's a chamber oven. So I'll show you later when we're in the back, but this oven is the size of a one-car garage. It goes all the way back.
No way.
Yeah, it's insane. And so there's about like a half wall right over here. What they would do is shovel the coal in and let the oven get really hot and kind of let it balance out, like kind of let it chill back down, and then they would load 300 loaves of bread into the oven. So there are pictures of literally horse and carriage picking up, you know, bags of bread in like brown paper bags and bringing them to like the waterfront factories to feed all the workers.
How
Turn of the
cool.
century, yeah. A lot of history.
Tons of history, and all making bread and dough
All
and stuff,
making
right?
bread and pizza, and literally this was the mouth of the oven. So often, like when I stand here and I make pizza, it's like I think about it like there's someone stood in this spot for like the last 100 years and is doing like exactly what I do, and it's kind of like, I don't know, it gives me the chills a little
Yeah,
bit.
me too.
It feels like it
I
has
love
a
that.
soul, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Has a soul. That's so cool. I love that. I love that.
So the pizza gods are watching. The
Yeah.
pizza gods are watching.
Yeah, and it's like it's the best environment for all that you do, right? Like
feels that way.
spiritually and like physically. If people have been making bread and dough in here for 100 years. Like,
100 years, and
Yeah.
it's like a little compound. When we first opened, I wanted to try to make a starter, so we could make our own dough from the original starter. And I figured, it was a bakery. There's probably some airborne, like yeast in the air. And as soon as I threw a little tray up there, like I came in the next day and it was super active. And before you knew it, we had this
No
really
way.
strong starter, and that's what we made our original, ball of dough with. Our original batch of dough was made with that starter, and then we use a piece of that mother dough and carry it over for every batch. So that same strand of yeast has been used for like the last 15 years.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So it literally was like the original air in here.
Literally, like it's
That's so cool.
It's
like
Brooklyn,
super
Brooklyn
spiritual.
born.
Yeah, I love it. I
yeah.
love it. Okay, so pizzas by the slice.
Yeah, pizzas by the slice. So it's funny you say like the pizza by the slice. That's the only pizza that I ever knew growing up. Aside from the Pizza Hut and the Domino's that were out there, I thought every pizzeria was pizza by the slice, especially as a kid. But pizza by the slice became very popular in New York. Scott Wiener is a friend of mine, and he does pizza tours, and he's basically like a pizza historian.
Yeah.
And I was recently with him over at John's Pizzeria, Bleeckers, and we were getting their old benches because he wants to save them. And he was talking about John's Pizzeria and basically the story of them at like 1915 and 1920s and 30s were very popular. At that time, I'm not sure if they were selling it by the slice, but the pizza by the slice really makes sense for New York. It's a commuter town. Everybody is usually taking the subway, the train to work, or walking to work. So it makes it very easy to kind of like pop into a pizzeria, grab a slice really quick, and eat there, eat on the run, eat on the train. So it works. In this city, the individuals like pies, like the Napoli style pies, they're certainly around, and we had an amazing like revolution of like Neapolitan, neo-Neapolitan, all
Yeah.
that, and so many great pizzerias. But the by the slice pizza in New York is certainly king. I think a lot of New Yorkers will tell you that. And yeah, it's a vibe. You know, you come in, you order a slice, you bullshit with the guy behind the counter. You better fold it when you eat it. Don't, you know, take a fork and knife.
Yeah.
You don't want to get caught like that, like our old mayor, you know, got caught slipping. So, and then, you know, you eat it, and it's funny because the culture of eating a slice is even gotten more detailed. And you talk to my buddy Mark at Lucali's, he folds it, he puts like a little napkin in the end so no grease falls out of the back.
Sweet.
He leans a certain way so he doesn't get it on his shirt or on his shoes.
Good to know.
So it's a vibe.
I need to know
yeah,
this trick because
it's
it's
a vibe.
generally like a dribble situation for me. Okay, so we got to fold the New York slice.
Got to fold the next slice. And then for the squares, normally when someone walks to the door and orders one of the square pizzas, we usually ask them, like, do you like the middle or the corner? And a lot of people love the corner because it has a little more crust.
Yeah.
But some people like the middle because it has a little bit more dough. So it just all really depends.
So by the slice, you got to make a really big pizza.
Big pizza, you know, typically it's somewhere between, I would say 16 and 20 inches, but most of the places make an 18-inch pizza.
Okay.
We make it 20, which is a little bit bigger. And when you cut a 20-inch pizza into 8, let's say, it leaves a really nice slice, basically to kind of fill out a plate. So yeah, so what we're looking for is, you know, a slice to kind of like, you know, the tip kind of comes over the edge a little bit. The crust like takes up a lot of the plate, so it feels like there's value and there is value to it. And so I feel like, you know, this is a pretty good size. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a great size. All right, so you've got like a pretty like straightforward menu, but you're known for really, really great ingredients. Right?
Exactly. Yes. Very simple menu, very pared down. So basically, the idea behind that was just to we wanted to make fresh pizza. We wanted to use the best ingredients that we can find, and it was important to me to not have like a display area with 20 different pizzas that don't really get sold, and they start to congeal and they start to dry up and they look nasty. And when we opened in 2010, basically like the dollar slice was king in New York, and that bothered me because I grew up at a time when pizza was like really amazing. There was amazing pizzerias all over Brooklyn and Manhattan and New York in general. And then it seemed like the quality was going down. There was kind of like a race to the bottom with these dollar slices. And I understand like a dollar slice is helpful for you know, if you don't have a lot of money and you need to feed a family, for sure. But it was very important to me to like make something that I was really proud of, not play like the price game of like trying to get it as cheap as I could. And we went the opposite way. And we said, you know what? We're gonna make this pie. I'm gonna cost it out using the ingredients I want to use, and then we'll, you know, apply a price to it that makes sense within that. And so that's what we did. And luckily, you know, the margins on pizza are very good. So we were able to fall within, you know, the parameters of a slice, you know, somewhere between $2 and $4 or $5.
Yeah.
So, you know, our regular slice, I think we started when we opened here was like $3.75 or something like that, $3.25.
Sweet.
Yeah, so basically our motto is to do as much as we can by hand and do as much as we can by scratch. So one thing that we do is we stretch all of our own mozzarella from curd. So we'll be doing a little bit of that later. You see like some water boiling behind you.
So you make all your own mozzarella?
All of our own mozzarella. We take it from curd, you know, we break up the curd. We weigh out the salt and we keep it to the side. And we do that the day before. And then in the morning crew puts on a pot with water. And every morning they make somewhere between, you know, 40, 80, 120 pounds of mozzarella in the morning, which is a lot of fresh mozzarella.
And 20 pounds of mozzarella every day. Wow. I'm
We're gonna
excited
make some
to try it.
I'm gonna try to make a braid in the mozzarella, like the one in your hair, and maybe we could get like a little parallel side-by-side shot, like a mozzarella braid and the hair.
Okay, well, that's awesome. And okay, say, what is your most requested pie here?
Our most requested pie is probably our white pizza. The white pizza kind of became very popular right out of the gate. It's basically every pizzeria in New York pretty much had like the round pizza, like the regular slice, the cheese slice, margarita, you know, whatever, regular slice. Then most pizzerias in New York had a square, a version of a square, so that was either the Sicilian or a grandma pizza. And then it always had like a white pizza for people that didn't like tomato sauce.
Right.
So when we did Best Pizza, like the idea wasn't to try to reinvent the wheel. It was just like do it in the same tradition of the pizzerias that I grew up in, but do it with integrity and do it with, all of the knowledge that I had from cooking and going to school, and kind of try to bring some of those elements here. So we did our white pie, which was started off as like just some ricotta on it, and then I wanted to do arugula on the top, and my partners at the time had really high standards, and we were doing R&D and going back and forth, and we landed on our current pizza, which is fresh ricotta, caramelized onions, some sesame seeds around the crust, and then we finish it off with some pecorino cheese that we shave and some parsley. But I think like the sesame seed at the end, it has like a nutty flavor. You can kind of smell it when it's cooking, and people seem to really love it. There's usually not anything left on the plate when we serve the white.
Yeah, it looks so good. Awesome. All right, so you're like doing the best of the basics.
Best of the basics. And
I love that.
Yeah, like with making our own cheese, it gives me the opportunity to control the salinity and the salt, right? It gives me an opportunity to control the moisture. And I know what's inside of it. There's not all these, sort of binding elements. There's not like a bunch of junk in it,
Right.
I know exactly what's in it. When it comes to the tomato sauce, same thing. We just look for really nice tomatoes and we mill them when we add salt, and that's it, And then the dough is like a big process.
Yeah, huge process.
Huge process.
Literally 750 gram dough balls for these pizzas. Is that what you said?
Yeah, 750 grams, right around there. We use these tins, right? So a lot of pizzerias that you've been to in the past, I'm sure you've worked with these tins, and maybe
No,
you've
I've
seen
never
them.
seen-
You never have?
No.
So most places use the big proof-in boxes.
Yeah.
But in New York, it's tough. Like, we don't have a lot of space. Our walk-ins aren't very big. We have reach-ins where we could put them. So it's important to have, to like buy equipment and use equipment that you could kind of fit into every little corner and every space that you have.
Yeah.
So one reason that I really like these containers is because you could stack them. You could stack them in lines. It's very easy. There it is. There it is.
Look at these compact.
Bada bing,
Look at these
bada boom.
huge dough balls too. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, please. Don't worry. You're going to be getting your hands dirty, so get comfortable.
I know. I'm nervous.
Ready?
I'm nervous.
So,
Cool.
yeah.
So the shaved Parmesan you get, or shaved mozzarella you get at home, like you were saying, all those binders in it,
Yeah.
that burns on the pizza, right? It does like a weird thing. And so when you're making your own mozzarella, you're not getting that.
No.
It's like the weird additives in it that do that, huh?
100%. So that's one thing that I love about our cheese. It melts really differently. Also, a little bit goes a long way. And you're 100% right. Like, if you buy mozzarella that's already shredded, let's say, and you just take it out of the bag and put it into your pan before you do, a lot of times you'll see the strands like melted on the pizza, like you'll see it not fully melt. You'll see it not like change and come together on the pie like it should. You'll see those individual strands, and like, yeah, there's anti-binding agents in there. There's a lot of different things that they have to use for shelf life,
Yeah.
which I understand, and there's definitely a purpose for that.
Yeah.
But for us, there's a high standard of what we're going for, and with my guys, we strive for, nothing's perfect, but we strive for perfection every time that we make these pies. The right kind of amount of cheese and sauce, and the ratios are right, and that's what's most important to me.
I'm not nervous. Strive for perfection.
I have nothing but faith. I think you're underselling yourself. I think that you're gonna get in here and knock it out of the park. I'm fully.
Well, you're a good teacher, so I'm stoked to learn from you, from the best.
And we're just gonna give you the wheel and let you go, right?
No, oh yeah, perfect. I just throw me to the wolves, Frank. All right, what are we making first then?
So I think we're gonna get right into the white pizza.
Cool. I've never made a white pie,
Today we're gonna do the white pizza. We're also gonna do a grandma pie,
which I've never even tried.
and you've never tried.
So many news for me today.
This is gonna be, some new pizzas for you on two different fronts. and I think it's gonna come out great. I'm very excited. Gozney TV, baby.